The video appears to show Riley initially shooting into the side of his yard.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's your host, Nicholas Renner, coming to you with a video outside of upstate New York where a federal firearms FFL dealer and highway superintendent shot at a person fleeing or running away, a DoorDasher. We're going to get into this video, give you my opinions on it, and just go over some of the details here. Let's get into it.
Tonight, newly obtained surveillance video reportedly showing the moment an elected official in upstate New York shot a DoorDash driver outside his home. The driver, who has not been publicly named, was attempting to deliver food to a house in Chester, New York, police say, when he became lost and unable to navigate using the app. They say he approached several homes asking for directions before arriving at the residence, seen here at a nearby address just before the shooting in a video obtained by News 12.
I have a DoorDash. My phone is can help.
So the only thing that you can really rationalize with it or might think about is because maybe he was going through his head. He saw, you know, just because of everything, in lieu of everything going on, he hears some foreigner at his doorstep with a foreign accent, okay? Things going on in his head, I don't know, but obviously just because you see someone at your doorstep at 3 in the morning doesn't just automatically give you right to start shooting at them, as well as he can be seen going away. He's already leaving your property as we speak, and then he starts shooting, so.
Police say he then went to the home of New York Highway Superintendent John Riley, who is also a federally licensed firearms dealer. Another video obtained by News 12 reportedly showing the 48-year-old walking out of his house. The video appears to show Riley initially shooting into the side of his yard, yelling at the driver to leave as the DoorDash driver turned on his ignition.
Go! Go!
Moments later, firing toward the vehicle after the driver starts to reverse. Shooting once more as the victim drove off. Police say one of the bullets struck the driver in the back, causing serious physical injuries. Riley tonight out on bail, but facing felony assault and criminal weapon possession charges, according to state police.
Just shock, disbelief, disgust. I just can't believe that took place.
So apparently he can't be fired because obviously he's an elected official, but not to get into that aspect, but to get into the firearms aspect and the gun owner aspect. So coming from someone from New York, so obviously it seems like he's been charged with firearms charge. So let's go over the charges here. So this is straight from New York State Police, the website. New York State Police arrest Chester man following DoorDash incident. Okay, this was on May 3rd, 2025. That's when they arrested him. This happened on May 2nd, 9:50 p.m. They were notified about it. So John Riley III, he's being charged with assault in the first degree, Class B felony, criminal possession of a firearm in the second degree, that is a Class C felony, and then criminal possession of a firearm, Class E felony. Well, let's go into the details a little bit more about this. So this was not, you know, crazy upstate New York, right? This is, you know, closer to New York City, obviously, but this is what gives gun owners a bad rap. Let's go over these charges before we give my opinion on it. So we got criminal possession of a weapon in the second degree. So that's when you possess a loaded weapon with intent to use it unlawfully, okay? That can carry up to 15 years in prison. And then he's got criminal possession of a firearm, so he's an FFL. Okay, so obviously this is the one thing. So he in New York State, if he legally, so maybe he didn't actually legally own that handgun, because if he got criminal possession of a firearm, they seized all of his firearms for what the New York State Police have said. Further investigation is innocent until proven guilty. Okay, due process. You can't do that. Okay, especially in New York State, if you legally own that handgun, you would have had to go through an 18-hour course. You would have had to been approved by your sheriff or judge to have the pistol permit, right? And for you to have the FFL, you would have been the most scrutinized person. You were a superintendent, or as of now, a superintendent of the highway, right? So you're an elected official. You also have a FFL, a federal firearms license, to purchase firearms and sell them commercially, right, for profit. As well as, if you owned your handgun legally, having a New York State pistol permit, which, if you don't already know, is one of the hardest states to obtain a pistol permit. You have to go through an 18-hour class, have 4 references of your good nature, have a waiting period, get your fingerprinted, etc. Right? So it's just all those things. So you have, so maybe this goes to show, gun control will never work no matter what, because sometimes when you live in a free society with free people, sometimes people make mistakes. People make decisions that are questionable, right? Obviously, this guy, he'll get his due process, and then maybe he was intoxicated. That's even worse if he was, right? But they'll obviously get to the bottom of what's going on. But based on what has been shown, when someone comes to your doorstep, he's shown no threat to you, right? It's not like you've told him to leave 30 times and he's, trying to get into your house and cause bodily injury, or it's not like he's setting arson, because obviously if you look in the New York State Penal Code, there's provisions for force, physical force and lethal force for things like arson and armed burglary and things like that, right? There's that, but at the same time, it's not like he's pushing his way into your house and you're telling him to stop and then you have no other choice, right? It's like this, he's already leaving, he's in his car, he's leaving, and you just start shooting at him, right? It goes from like warning shots into the ground to where it's just like, it almost seems like you're just negligent in a way, or just nonchalantly just shooting willy-nilly. It's not like you're even trying to be accurate with your shots, right? You're just like shooting like you're intoxicated or under the influence of something, or at least that's what it seemed like, right? Obviously they haven't said anything, but I'm not trying to defame this person or anything like that, but obviously you almost just killed the person that literally just got lost in your neighborhood. It's not like one of these scenarios where it's like a gang of like these foreign nationals were showing up trying to break into your house, like maybe you had like some different concept going on there, because it's definitely not what happened. Tell me what you guys think, but this is just what gives gun owners a bad rap, right? Because then the left is going to say, oh, look, then they're not going to be like, they're not going to see it as though, oh, hey, maybe even the places with the most strict gun control, people still can make messed up decisions, even the most scrutinized of people, even the people with all of the licenses, right? Maybe just because you have titles and licenses and all these things doesn't just automatically make you into this superhuman class of human being. That's why I don't understand how so many of the leftists will be fine with police officers and all these certain individuals having all these firearms, right, or being able to have it, and then all of a sudden citizens can't have it. Like, you just all of a sudden turn into this magical human being, like grass is greener. Like, obviously you have more, you're more vetted, you've been through more background checks, right? But it's like, at the same time, in places like New York State, there's no way of owning an assault weapon legally if you've gone through background checks. If that's excluding, like antique certain things. I'm talking about, you got to take a class, take a shooting course, whatever. I'd be fine to go through it if I could own modern assault weapons in New York, right? But they don't give you away, because their whole thing is like, oh, we want to put people through more testing. It's not about taking the firearms away. It's just more background checks. Well, it's not like their whole goal is to ban firearms, because they're not giving us the legal avenue. And they're like, oh, it's because these weapons don't belong on the streets, right? While your enforcement arms will carry them to protect you, right? What about our lives? And this is America. This is the land of the free people, right? The Second Amendment was written second for a reason, and they didn't write the amendments to go obsolete with the advent of some new technologies. So they knew about progression. It's just crazy, because I grew up in New York, so this is a pretty big mistake where, you almost killed somebody. You're supposed to be a representative in a way. You're supposed to be holding yourself to a higher standard, right? I want to know what possibly was going through his head, because he's got to know all this stuff. He's got to know all of this stuff. He's an FFL. If he's got a legal firearm, he's got his pistol permit. And I would assume you would want to legally have your pistol permit if you're an FFL in New York State buying and selling guns, right? You should know lethal force. That's one of the things you learn in the 18-hour class, is what is justified use of force in the state, okay? And this guy is already in his car. It's like you're sniping at the guy at this point, right? It's like he's like, it's like gone past like this is what one of the examples you would have used if you would have been in the class or teaching it to not do. This guy's running away unarmed, already in his vehicle fleeing, and you're taking shots at him with intent to possibly kill, okay? So, ladies and gentlemen, we'll see how it plays out, but it's just, hopefully the left doesn't latch on to this and just be like, oh my gosh. Ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, share. Tell me what you think in the comment section below, because this is crazy what's going on out there, ladies and gentlemen. But as always, I'll see you on the next one. Stay free.